Hi, and welcome to the Friendship Flow podcast. My name is Katy, and I'll be your host. My hope is to create a space for women entering their wisdom years to learn about friendship from all their own personal experience and create the circle of friends they desire and deserve. I hope to explore this subject with you so you can explore what friendship means to you in your life. I created a 5-step approach to accomplish just that. 1, self-awareness. 2, connection. 3, boundaries, growth. And 5, joy. Each episode, we will dive deeply into the steps and how to use them. Hey friends, Happy New Year, 2026. The years are flying by, for me anyways. For the new year, on this podcast, I'm going to try something new, at least new for me. I'm not going to read my scripts, although I'll still prepare the same way I usually do. I'm going to try and create more of a conversation with you. So I want it to sound like you're sitting in the seat next to me. So hello, friend. Let's get the conversation started. So how do you want to show up in friendship this year? Going into the new year with the tools that we already have from last year, self-awareness, connection, boundaries, growth, joy, where do we want to go from there? Building on those 5 steps that will get us to that last step, joy. It's a new year, and, I never put on my intentions friendship, but this year I did add that to my intentions for the year, at least thought about it a lot. And I really want to create friendships that I need and want in my life. And I want to create that group of people that really help guide me and the kind of person I want to be. So I'm wondering what that looks like for other people my age and aging. So I'm 61 years old this year. And I think it used to be that when we retired or when we got to a retirement age, if we weren't working, that women were looked at to kind of maybe sit in a rocking chair on the front porch or knit a sweater somewhere. And now that we have so much more longevity and we're healthier, living longer, there's so much more potential. There's so much more to look at with our new existence, I guess, into aging. And it does look different to me. I feel like, I'm 61, so maybe, who knows how long I have left, but maybe I have 30 years or so. Who knows? And that's a long time to just sit and knit a sweater. So I want to create the circle of friends that will help me live the life that I want to live for however many years I might have left. And hopefully it's 30 years. We'll see. So what can we do differently? What can I do differently? What can you do differently this year to create that for ourselves? If we look through the steps, always self-awareness. That's always number 1 in my mind. Connection, that's so important with friendships, right? If you don't have a connection, you're not going to have a friend. Boundaries, this one's so important, but so hard. Sometimes it's hard to create those boundaries, but they're so necessary. And it doesn't mean you're not a good person or you're lacking somewhere because you need some space in some relationships. Everybody needs it. And when we're able to ask for it, it might even make that relationship a little stronger, believe it or not. And when we talk about growth, we still have so much room to grow. As I said, like retirement doesn't mean relaxing now on a beach or reading for the rest of your life. We have a lot of time, a lot of years to reinvent ourselves if we're not working to look at some of the creative avenues that we can explore now. So we want that circle of friends to help us get there. And I wrote a little note here, why supporting our friends' health is important to us. I thought a lot about this this past week. I'll tell you a little story. My mom and I are very close, and it hasn't always been that way, believe it or not. But right now we are very close, and most of my adult life we've been very close. So I was going away for a month and she was a little nervous. She was, oh, I'm going to miss you so much. I won't see you, all that. And so I bought tickets to a show when she got home from the, when I got home from the trip. And so before I left for the trip, I said, when I get home the next day, we're going to this show. It's going to be wonderful. We're going to have a great time. And I got back from my trip and we went to the show, and it wasn't what I thought. My mother came into my house. She was not in a good mood, which is unlike her. And I actually said to her, we don't have to go to this show. We can go out to dinner, do nothing at all. We don't have to do this if you're not up for it. And she goes, no, I am. I want to go. I said, okay. Didn't sound like a fun reaction, but I went with it and we went to the show. It was a rainy night. And while we were in the show, she was quiet. I offered her a glass of wine, which usually we like having a glass of wine together. No, she didn't want that. We watched the show. It was funny. She relaxed a little bit, but as we were leaving, it was pouring out. And she just, maybe we shouldn't go to dinner. Maybe we should. And I said, wow, you're really upset. And she said, no, I'm fine. And she goes, but maybe we should just go home. I said, okay. So we had gotten dropped off. So I called my husband to pick us up. And we stood under a ledge while it rained. And she looked at me and said, call Greg back. Tell him not to come. I want to go out to dinner with you. I said, okay. So I did. We went out to dinner. Still wasn't any better. Her mood was terrible. We got home and she was leaving. And I stood at the door while she left. And she turned back to me and she said, when you asked me what was wrong, I just wanted to have a good night, so I didn't want to get into it. But what's wrong is I'm losing all my friends. And my heart just sunk. My mom's 84 years old, and she has lost a number of her core group. And, as we age, that's part of life. We will lose people. We will lose family members. We will lose friends. And it really turned a switch on me that night. And I really thought about my health and the health of my friends. So I think when we talk about supporting our friends in health, it's important. So maybe I need motivation. This morning, I went for a run with a friend that I haven't seen in a while. I ordered something from her. So she wanted to drop it off. And she said, why don't we go for a run? And I haven't been running lately. So I was like, but I said yes anyways. And it was wonderful. We ran 3 miles. We chatted, and I thought, oh, I'm so glad I went on this run with her. And I feel like I need to reach out to other friends that, especially this time of year too, it's cold. Who wants to go out in the ice and the snow and everything else? But we need to. We need to keep moving. We need to stay healthy, not only for ourselves, for our families, for our friends, and we need our friends to stay healthy. So that was big for me, a big realization. So for intentions for me going into this year, 2026, it means really reaching out and being the one to say, let's do this, let's get outside. I already belong to, a hiking group. I teach yoga. I do outdoor events with that. But probably not enough. Probably I need to reach out more. So maybe think about that with your friends. Think about, who in your group needs a little motivation and how can you support that friend? Or are you the one that needs the motivation, and maybe reach out to your friends and say, hey, look, I want to stay healthy and I'm not motivated. I need some help. I need a phone call to say, let's go for a walk, and get your friends involved with your health too. I know I'm going to do that. I'm going to try this year to really reach out to my friends and, say what I need. Tell them what I need. They don't know. And speak up and look at my friends and see who might need my help and ask, and be the one to do the invite. And sometimes even that's motivating enough, inviting a friend to a run or a walk or a hike. You're not gonna not go if someone's waiting for you. So that's a motivator right there. And when I was thinking about the other thing that came up to mind is competition amongst friends. I'm not competitive at all. I was, a triathlete in races, and I've run a few marathons and things like that. However, I never cared about my time, cared about who was running faster than me or anything. I just enjoyed it. And I sometimes back in the day, maybe I wanted to be better than I was yesterday, and I still have that maybe, but not over friendships. But there are I have friends that are very competitive that want to push the edge and with fun competition. But we need to remember to celebrate our friends' wins and to how to help a competitive friend. Like, maybe you're not up for the race when you're running, and just let them know, I'm not up to going that fast, or I'm not up to winning today. I just want to be out in the fresh air. But allow them their space to be who they are as well. A little competition isn't bad for anyone. It's just not everybody's jam either. I know it's not mine. How do we learn to respond instead of react in friendship? This is another note I took. So, listening. I think when we learn to listen and really listen and give ourselves that time, that space to respond instead of react, it helps. And what does emotional maturity look like between friends? Well, I think you just learn to look at your friends differently, and they look at you differently. And I think that not every feeling needs to be shared. Not every misunderstanding needs a resolution. And peace can be more important than being right. So, when is it wiser to have a conversation? And when is it wiser to let go? Those times that you're, you see something happen with a friend and you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe that that's what she said or did. First, think like, is that going to help her? Is that constructive feedback? Or is that something that can just sit and let this person be who she or he is? You need to make those decisions every day. Like, when is it best to just keep your mouth closed and listen? And when is it, maybe time to speak up and say, um, some constructive criticism or just, sometimes you have to say, yeah, I really didn't like that, or that didn't really feel good to me. Sometimes those types of things need to be said, but sometimes it's best if we step back and let it settle in and understand it a little bit better. That saying, sleep on it. I really believe in that. And I've used that. My husband and I use that whenever we both love to buy things. And last year at the boat show, we were all ready to buy this boat. We talked to the salesman. We happen to know him. And we were so excited. We both wanted the same thing. We were so excited about this boat. We chatted about it all the way home. And we got home, and at the end of the night, after all the excitement throughout the day, we both looked at each other and said, let's just table this till tomorrow. And we did. And when tomorrow came, we did wake up, both of us, with a little bit clearer picture of what was happening. We were so excited. We could have written the check that day, but by sleeping on it, it gave us a little bit of time to look at exactly what we want and what we might want to think about before we make such a major purchase. And we still want to make this purchase, but we still haven't made this purchase. And it will happen when the timing's right. But I'm glad we took that pause. And I see that every day in little things too. When you take that pause and think before you react, think before you say something that might turn the tables for you or another person. Look at it, think about it, sleep on it, and revisit it. Most things, unless it's some sort of emergency, most things aren't going to go away by the next day. The boat at the boat show, that was going to be there the next day, the next week, the next year. We have a little time to think about that. If we want to say something to a friend about a situation, get it clear in your head before you hurt feelings or maybe say something that you don't really mean. So those are the things that I would think about going into the new year for myself, and I hope that's helpful for you. I also started a blog. So I haven't been doing the podcast for a few weeks now, but I started a blog that you can find on Substack, The Friendship Flow. In fact, I'm putting it out there today. It's not exactly published yet, but it will be published today. And it's just a place for reflection, connection, Um, and maybe a like soft landing after the podcast to like take it all in. It's different. It's not the same as the podcast. It's not the same information, but I do talk about some things that I have talked about on the podcast. So if you want to take a look at that, I would be happy with that. And if you have any comments or ideas for me, I would love that. And you can always find me on Facebook, either Katy Buckley or at Elevated Adventures Yoga, where I have a page for the Friendship Flow. So I'd love to see you in those circles as well. And well, that's all I have for today. And I will be seeing more of you in this new year. So happy New Year, friends. Until the next time, take a deep breath and enjoy all your friendships in the new year.